she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?"
If it is true that people tend to die around that 3 a.m. thing, is it not quite significant that that voice said,
Am I going to
"Oh my God, am I dying?"
Yeah. Oh, I've got goosebumps.
And it's
At
3 a.m. Not only that, but he reveals that her body is being transported home in the cargo hold of the same flight.
And you come across things where people have actually physically spoke to somebody that's dead. It's weird.
Yeah.
She's just died. Is energy stronger at first? Hello Spookers, welcome back to our channel. So we've gone for a bit of green lighting. Let us know what you think. We wanted to create an ambience. And also, you can pick a colour if you want. Let us know if you want a different colour for next time, and let us know how you feel about the colour. I think it looks quite cool. Kind of, we say it looks night vision-y.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Really like it. So tonight we are going to be reading 3 ghost stories that we found on the internet. Where these stories are sourced, I will put the links in the description so you can go check them out yourselves. There will be more stories that we're not reading out because we're just picking 3, aren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll be able to go and have a look further if you find this interesting. And we're going to talk about each story, aren't we? Get your drink, get a snack. Speaking of drink.
Snack.
Thank you. Before we begin, if you're new, subscribe because we're awesome. We do paranormal investigations.
True.
It's true. We do paranormal investigations on a Monday. So sometimes on a Thursday we have smaller investigations maybe go up. And we also do this on a Thursday as well. And it's just nice to chill and talk about ghosts, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
We are enjoying doing this, so enjoy with us. But this first story is called The Little Hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen, writes Reddit user Patented Spacehook. Recounting a true event, other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night, the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mum's brother, to check on their pets. My mum and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. Why did it struggle to get that word out?
Too many letters.
It is too many letters.
Did you say vet?
Vet, yeah, why didn't I've just embarrassed myself. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see to the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mum was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what happened, and he turned white.
Sorry, I was trying to stop from coughing.
Pick your times.
I was desperately trying not to. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Maybe you.
Sorry.
She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. What I find creepy about that is this mother didn't know this.
No.
So for her to feel that, but there was no pets that came from the basement.
No.
There was no relevance to it either, was there?
No.
Yeah, she wouldn't have known that.
And she felt little hands grab in the end, not just brush past.
Yeah.
So when you put both of them together, that's when stories get a bit,
Yeah, because why, of all the things she could have said, why would she say about it grabbing her ankles and stuff?
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's like there was no relevance to her grabbing her ankles.
No.
So she could have said, "Oh, I felt somebody touch my arm or touch my head or something," but she didn't. She said it was her ankles.
It kind of reminds me of a story, actually. When my dad's dad died, right? My granddad, I was really, really little. Two of my cousins that are older than me, they went to bed and then they came down and they looked a bit sort of shook up. And their mum, my auntie, she was like, what's up? And they stood there and opened their hands and there was a 50p piece in each hand, and my granddad was known for doing that, but there was no money upstairs. So again, it's the same thing. My auntie Georgina knew that my granddad did this, but they didn't.
Yeah.
If that made sense.
So why would they come down with a 50p?
Exactly.
Specifically.
Mad,
So
isn't
it's
it?
not
Specifically a 50p.
Yeah.
It's quite good because, look, when you've got something like that happens, and the person who it's happening to has no idea about, like the kid getting under the piano,
The relevance to it.
There's no relevance for them because they don't know, but yet they still experience it, and you think, well, surely that's got to mean something.
That's when it becomes paranormal in my eyes, don't you think?
It's
unexplainable.
Unexplainable, yeah.
For them to have an experience like that, and it is related to the daughter that's just died. She used to play a game and go under the piano. That's just weird.
That's very specific, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be able to make that up.
Make that up or think it up or something.
Yeah.
No.
It is. It's mad, isn't it? I know my mum told me one once. I don't know who these people were. I don't know if they were friends or family members. That the family members that you don't really have anything to do with. I don't know if it was like them.
Like
or
distant relatives.
Yeah, distant relatives, or they were just family friends. But one of them's dad died. And I think it was the bloke's dad died. And obviously he was really upset and everything. And he went to go upstairs this one night just to tuck the kids in, like he did it every night. And he went in, and my mum said that this is apparently a true story. He went in and he watched the quilt go up the bed and took his kids in.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's weird.
Because it's not like my mum wouldn't lie, right? And the bloke that told my mum this, this is why she told me it, he wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
That's really strange. That would really freak you out, though,
He
wouldn't
said apparently when it had happened, well, the wife, she was downstairs and she thought, God, he's 8, like, what's he doing? So she went up and he was just sat at the end of one of the kids' beds, just sat there.
Like in shock sort of thing.
Yeah.
I suppose it would be quite mad to see that, because you didn't, like with the thing to do with my uni bag moving, you didn't actually see it. It was more that you knew where I'd left it and you heard it move, and when you turned round you could tell it had moved. You didn't actually see it. With
If
your
you
own
want
eyes.
to know about, that
yeah.
story, guys, I'll link that up there because they talk about the bag a bit more in the video before this one. Don't you?
I've had a few things where the white feathers.
Yeah.
That's meant to mean something. Like a loved one and come to visit.
What happened for me was, Susie, is my mum always used to say she had a thing about white feathers.
Yeah.
She used to always, if she saw a white feather, because she was very close to my dad's parents.
Yeah.
And after they died, she always used to say, "Oh, your grandma's here, look," because there was a feather.
Yeah.
And numerous times it's happened to me where, and one was I came to the traffic lights at Bracebridge Heath.
Yeah.
And I pulled up and I was sitting there, and I remember telling you about it, that I was thinking about my mum. And I can't tell you what I was thinking about, but I just remember I was thinking about my mum. And a feather came through, the window was only open that much, it came through the window and landed on my lap.
Oh.
And I was like,
That's really random.
And I know it's like, oh yeah, it's a pigeon like having a fight or just got hit by a car or something.
But it's pigeon got hit by a car.
Yeah, it got hit by a car or something. But it literally flew through the window and landed on my lap.
It's a weird coincidence, isn't it?
And I've had it numerous times where I've been thinking about her.
Yeah.
And I've seen it flutter past and stuff. It's
That's
weird.
mad.
It's weird. And they sort of say you can put ideas in your own mind, can't you?
Maybe it's comforting. It's a comfort thing that you find a significance in it.
Yeah.
Because it gives you comfort.
Say robins.
That's Ange.
Because
We've had a
the
robin.
past few days, there's a robin constantly in the back garden, sat
Well,
on the fence outside.
Robins are very territorial.
You'll get a
pair of robins.
A boy and a girl.
Because the female robin looks like a male robin, but she's slightly not as bright chested.
Okay.
More brown.
That's
and red.
all you will ever get in your garden is two, because they will fight otherwise.
Okay.
But ever since Angie's sister died, we've had a pair of robins in the garden.
That's mad.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We'd never had one before.
That is mad.
Not that I.
It came the 2019 year.
Yeah.
Angie's sister died in the March, and they tend to be a bit like they'll find somewhere to nest, won't they?
Yeah.
And that literally within that couple of months they appeared.
That is mad.
Coincidence?
I didn't think I was recording.
Could
Can you imagine if you weren't?
Could be coincidence.
Yeah.
But obviously we've known about my uncle. My uncle's not very well at the minute. We've known about this a few weeks.
Yeah, and then you've been seeing them.
Yeah, but it's only in the past few days when it's got worse.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is it my nana? No, but I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's the same as a white feather.
No, they say that, what is it? When a
ones
loved
are-
one is near, you'll see a robin.
No, when a robin is here, a loved one is near or something.
Is that what it is?
Something like that.
So it is similar to a white feather then. I didn't think it was. I couldn't remember what it was. But that must be what it is then.
Yeah.
Have you guys had any white feathers or robin experiences, or do you know anything else that's meant to mean that a loved one is near? Let us know, because we find this interesting.
It is interesting.
Okay, story number 2. Okay, so this one's called The Phantom Patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12, recounts Reddit user Zerbo. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock into paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience with Rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m, and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice, but I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight and looked back into the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds, then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss, as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors. No one was in there. I checked the oxygen bottles, neither was opened. We didn't sleep much after that. For them both to hear the male voice. Again, going back to the story, again, if you want to see the last video we did of this chat, you'll know more about this story I'm about to say. But you both saw that boy. For both of you to see that boy at the same time makes it more... It's
experiencing the same thing.
Yes, it's like when we do our investigations and I hear something, but you two have heard it as well. Then it's like, right, there was something then. We heard that. It wasn't just my ears.
Another fascinating thing about that story goes to the 3 o'clock thing again. 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. seems to be the time, doesn't it?
Going off the top of my head, is it because the veil's meant to be thinner? Or...
Well, when I worked in care homes...
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're going to... Yeah.
We always used to have more deaths.
There is
between
more deaths.
three and 4.
Yeah. It's
But
a thing.
they
It's
say
a thing.
that for a human,
Mm.
it tends to be that is when you are at your deepest sleep.
Mm.
So you
you're
are
most
more
vulnerable.
likely. You have your body is so relaxed.
Mm.
Right.
You are more likely for your heart to stop or you to die.
Well, talk about being scared of going to sleep tonight.
Sorry, no, I'm saying it. They
Yeah.
say it from sort of a medical point of view.
So
That's
with
why
this,
when old people die in their sleep.
so
That's,
say
yeah.
this
Yeah.
3 a.m, 4 a.m. There's a lot of people that go out and do ghost hunts and things at 3 a.m, 4 a.m. It would be based on residual energy then. If most deaths happen, say
at that time,
it would be more residual, wouldn't it?
Mm.
they have a bit of a thing of there's always a bit of a link to three numbers. The 330 is a bit of a thing, isn't it? Or 333. We watched a programme about that, didn't we? About 333. Yeah. But it's always within the 3.
Yeah, that woman kept waking. I can't remember what that was called. That was quite good actually.
She kept waking up at 3:33. Yeah.
They're quite spiritual numbers, aren't they? Repetitive numbers, seeing repetitive numbers. It means things, doesn't it?
It means things. Not only that, but numbers mean things in different cultures. Like I think I can't quote me on it. It's maybe Japanese or Chinese or something. They have a thing about 8. It's lucky in whatever country. I don't
Chinese.
know.
I'm sure it's
Japanese or something. Yeah. So. Is it just us that has this, as in England, Britain, whatever, that has this 333 thing, or is it, different cultures have different...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Different things.
It does make you wonder.
That's meant to be magic, number 7.
Yeah.
Because number 7, going off link...
that's
linked
to the Illuminati, isn't it? Is 3, 5 and 7.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because going off topic, Harry Potter...
Really?
Bring him in somewhere.
The number 7 comes up so much.
7 books.
There's 7 floors, 7 staircases.
7 Horcruxes.
7 Horcruxes. Harry's number on his Quidditch is number 7.
There's 7 Weasley kids.
Number 7. I did a video on it on my other channel.
I've never known that.
There's loads of 7s.
Yeah.
But that's apparently J.K. Rowling put that in specifically.
Yeah.
Because what is it? Because
it's a magical number.
I can't remember. I had in the video I did on it.
There's lots of 7s, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's so many, and I reeled them all off, and I said why the number 7 is so magical because I researched it.
I think it's 3 as well as the other one, the other magical number, which is quite because there's 3 Deathly Hallows. It's 3 and 7 apparently are magical numbers.
Oh. What do you guys think of numbers? Do you see recurring numbers? Have a chat with us while we're chatting.
But the other thing about that specific story as well is, if it is true that people tend to die around that 3 a.m. thing, is it not quite significant that that voice said,
"Am I going to
die? Oh my God, am I dying?"
Yeah. Oh, I've got goosebumps.
And it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was saying. Like, I wanted to pick up on the 3 a.m. thing because it's...
And that they're, like you said about replaying, is it that somebody did die in the
ambulance
back
at 3 a.m.
And
Guys.
because they were died very suddenly, possibly, like we were talking about in the other video again, which you have to go and watch,
its soul got ripped out.
They died so suddenly they didn't realise they were dead.
Well, my thing is, you think of all the deaths that must have happened in the back of an ambulance. Sudden deaths.
So many,
and they're sudden.
Yeah, so they're being ripped apart.
They've called an ambulance because they're having a bad time.
Yeah.
And by the time, they might not even make it to hospital.
No, there'll be so many, won't there? So the amount of haunted ambulance, I wouldn't want to do that. There'd be a lot. There'd be a lot of hauntings in an ambulance.
I think it's weird actually. You wouldn't think about that.
No, you wouldn't.
But this story's made me think about that.
Yes, I've never thought about that.
I wonder if it is significant of not just of an ambulance, but of anything where there is a lot of deaths,
like care homes,
hospitals. And not necessarily mortuaries, because obviously
No,
they're already
They're
dead.
already
Yeah,
dead.
But like
it's-
where people die.
It's like we've said, we go to graveyards. We love a good graveyard, don't we? But we don't necessarily think they're haunted.
No, it's a bit of a funny one. Depends how you see it, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
why
I mean, we've
would a
heard
soul
of hauntings.
go to
Their
a
dead
graveyard?
body.
But then, having said that, we had that one that we went to where the girl was supposed to be looking for her parents.
Yeah.
So I suppose you.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
gonna say.
graveyards
Yeah.
we tend to go to aren't just random graveyards. They've got a bit of history, or there's a known sighting, or they're the graveyards we
Something
tend to go
significant
to.
about
Yeah.
them, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's good to do experiments in graveyards, because we're there saying we don't think graveyards are haunted. You've got to experiment to know.
Or somebody's got to have been there and seen something and
You see,
or
I
looked for it, sort of thing.
when I used to work at the hospital, I used to do nights quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the one bit in that hospital that and I don't know whether you know where I mean to, I think you will, is that corridor from the main part of the hospital to the mat wing. You know, that's
I know.
Do you know where I mean, Susie?
I don't know if I know what you mean.
And when we used to go at nights, because the special care is in the mat wing,
Mm-hmm.
we used to have to go if they needed some help, or they needed to come to us because we needed some help. We used to have to go up and down that corridor.
It's that corridor that you got wheeled in the wheelchair and I was walking behind you.
Do you think a lot's happened down
People
that
have
corridor?
seen things.
What,
down
just
there.
down that corridor?
Down that corridor, yeah.
We need to investigate.
It's weird, and you can get to it from outside as well.
Yeah. I wonder if we could investigate.
Don't mind us, we're just investigating. They're like wheeling people
Mind your
past
business.
us. Yeah, just don't worry
mind
about
your
us.
business. When the old part of the hospital was there, that was freaky as well.
Is that the bit that's now been pushed,
It's a
torn
car
down?
park.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Wasn't that a children's?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was there, yeah. But my dad was on Roby ward, but he originally, when he first went into hospital, was up on the intensive care, and I didn't like going up there. That was not nice. You used to get that feeling that there was things there.
Oh gosh.
You know, like, but I think it's that stereotypical thing of what do you expect when it's a place where lots of people have died?
I know. Is it in your mind? Is it the ambience of that corridor?
Ambiance.
The ambience.
Yeah.
You don't know, do you?
No.
I do, but I've told you a few things about care homes that I've worked in and that, haven't I? So it does make you wonder. I mean, they have a lot of deaths, don't they?
Of course they do. I mean, people go there to finish, live the
End
rest
their
of their
life.
days. And
But you'd never think of an ambulance, though. But
No.
we're going to think
No.
about that now.
No,
yeah,
I
that's
know.
going to be. I'm going to have to speak to
I have
ambulance
to speak
drivers.
every time I have a.
We're going to have to do interviews
I
now.
haven't spoken to him up to now, but I'll try and remember because I've had a few ambulances recently,
Yeah.
haven't I?
Yeah.
Dickhead.
Start asking.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
When it
from
goes
now on.
in it,
Tech camera.
EMF,
I
wave
say,
it
can you
around.
just do a bit of an investigation in here while you're taking me on the way to
Get
A&E?
necrophonica.
Yeah. Do you
Is
mind if
anyone
I
else
just? Do
here?
you mind if I just do a quick investigation?
Just pull over.
Just make sure you keep me ECG on. I'm alright.
Yeah, but the EMF would be going nuts, wouldn't it, as
Hey, like,
well?
all that. Can you imagine all that electrical
I
equipment
know.
in the back of there?
Yeah.
I'm like, just
You just go, you start putting cat balls down.
Yeah. Just, don't mind me. Do you mind if I just do a quick EVP?
Yeah.
Shh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Shh.
Mic
Can you just
check.
turn
Recording.
Can you just turn that beeping off?
Keeping you alive. Turn
Yeah.
it off a minute. Let's see what happens.
I'll be alright in a minute. I'll be alright.
Be right. Just don't count me blood pressure.
Oh, what do you guys think about the ambulance thing that we're talking about? There's a lot of deaths in the backs of ambulances. It must be quite haunted in the back of an ambulance.
Yeah.
Not saying every death will cause a haunting in an ambulance,
No, but
but will be really traumatic.
you got to wonder if there are, like you say, they're
Lost
replaying.
souls
They're
and-
replaying
yeah.
in the back of that ambulance because they don't even realise that they're dead.
Yeah.
Which is, by the sounds of it, from that story, is what it is. If he's saying, am I dying or whatever, but is it because he doesn't realise he's already dead? He's trapped in that loop,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Let us know, join in the conversation, guys. But we're going to move on to the next story. Third story, guys, and I'm giving my voice a break, and Lisa's going to read this one.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're listening.
Okay. This is on the Independent, from the independent.co.uk. It says, a flight attendant recalls encounter with ghost passenger whose body was being transported in the hold. It was recalled on TikTok by Quan, did we say?
Yeah.
It'll be, the link for the TikTok will be in the description.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it in the video because there's copyright and all that. So if you want to see the TikTok, it will be linked in the description.
Former Emirates cabin crew member Sandra Kwan, 38, tells the story of a fellow flight attendant who was chatting to the wife of a sleeping passenger on a night flight. In the video, Kwan, as the flight attendant, chats to a friendly woman sitting next to her sleeping husband, saying she is cold, and asking the flight attendant for a blanket. She also asks the staffer for a green tea with milk and sugar for her husband for when he wakes up. When Kwan, as the flight attendant, goes back to the galley to chat to a colleague, they say that the sleeping man is travelling alone. When the crew member brings the man now awake his green tea, he tells her that his wife passed away the previous week. Not only that, but he reveals that her body is being transported home in the cargo hold of the same flight. In the video, Kwan suggests her customer was completely accepting of the incident, given that his wife's spirit had asked for his tea just how he likes it. She's in the cargo, but I believe you, this is how I drink my tea. The man in the video solemnly tells the flight attendant, I think she's just worried about me. After receiving countless spooked out comments, Kwan clarified that this was a story told to her by a member of cabin crew in training. That is weird, isn't it?
Again, it goes back to that first story, in a sense, of the girl grabbing an ankle, and that's what she felt, and she wouldn't have known anything about it. That flight attendant knew nothing how he liked his tea, but yet she made it right.
Yeah.
Because
the lady told him.
Told
Yeah,
her,
I'm
told him how to
assuming-
make his tea.
Green tea is normally drank just green tea.
No milk.
It's not got
No
milk
milk
in.
or sugar.
Maybe he has
No.
like honey in it and a splash of whiskey or something. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and
like most people that I know that drink green, I don't know many people that drink green tea.
Green tea don't have milk.
No. So to know
That I
that
know
he
of.
has milk in it and
Or what-
sugar,
yeah,
it's literally, I mean, I don't like it, but I've had it and I know people that have it. It's
Mm.
just the green tea bag and hot water.
Mm.
That's it.
So
And
where
it's
would
quite
you get
nice.
the idea that he wants milk and sugar in it, other than the fact that the lady told her?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she don't know him.
No.
She don't know how he has his tea.
I bet she was well freaked out.
Yeah, but they're going to get a blanket because she
I
was
know.
cold, and it's like
That's
no.
weird, isn't it?
You do, I've heard quite a few stories like in the past and everything, and obviously we do a lot of research, don't we, on the stories and things, and you come across things where people have actually physically spoke to somebody that's dead. It's weird.
Yeah.
If you've had a conversation with somebody like that, how could you ever dispute the belief of ghosts or paranormal after that?
Yeah, but you've got to believe what they're saying. That is what the story that Kwan is saying is true. Do you see?
No, I don't mean other people. I'm saying her.
Oh, because she's experienced it.
Surely you would be like,
And to
Wow.
be fair, the husband as well.
Yeah, you seemed very like accepting
of it.
And I think it's just because of the green tea. So he's basically like, well, I believe you because you
would
wouldn't
never
know.
have known that.
Yeah. It is mad, isn't it?
To think that people actually have
I mean,
conversations.
like, I meant mainly for her though. Like even if she was a skeptic
maybe
or
not
something,
even
or not even
about
never really questioned it.
Yeah.
But you would be like, whoa.
Exactly, because he was on the flight on his own, and he was He was taking her home.
Taking her body back.
Taking her body back home. So yeah. So there was no one with him that could have told her, oh, he likes his tea this way.
Yeah, and he was asleep, so it's not like he told her, but he forgot he told her or something because he was asleep.
No.
So
and she remembers who she spoke to.
And
'cause
she remembers
was
having
awake.
a conversation with her, doesn't she?
Yeah. It is really, really strange. And I just think, like, is that a fresh energy?
The thing, another part to it, I think, is like when we go and do investigation stuff, we do EVPs and we maybe hear mumbling or humming and stuff like we have done at the asylum. But to actually have a conversation not via an EVP or something, do you get what I mean? Where you are actually hearing somebody talk to you and you are talking back and conversing with that person without the aid of any paranormal equipment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it because she's just died? Is energy stronger at first?
Yeah, possibly. It could roll back to that thing that we was talking about, I think, in the previous video, that's his wife.
Yeah.
He's gonna be feeling low
all these emotions
and shit, and things are happening. It comes back to that.
Is she back for comfort?
She's comforting him, if you like, because of how he feels.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, the sadness gives off a lot more energy. You know, heightened happiness, a lot more energy, and
sort of on the same sort of subject. Did I tell you about that when I went to that affair I went to, and there was lots of people doing tarot cards and
affair as in
like people like
stalls
and
tombolas.
Yeah,
and
there was
stuff.
people selling crystals and all the rest of it.
As not a fun fair.
And I only went. My mum had died, but I still was very sceptical.
Oh, you have told me this,
I don't think I've heard.
No,
this.
I don't know whether I've told you.
And these guys haven't heard it.
No. One of my close friends when I was doing my nurse training was my friend Jenny, and she was really into like the crystals and tarot reading and everything. And she said, "Oh, come with me. I don't want to go on my own." And I was like, "Okay," but I was totally sceptical.
Just like
I was very sort of like, maybe, whatever. I've always been a semi-believer. There's always a part of me that questions everything. So we went in, and you went up these stairs. It was in the Guildhall in Peterborough, and went up the stairs, and it was a big old building, and they'd got like a massive, like a gallery. Hallway, and there was people with stalls and stuff, and then there was a big massive room with all these people in this stall. And when we went up the stairs, there was a lady who was, I'm sure it said on her like little bit at the front something about she was a medium, but she did tarot cards as well. And I'm very sort of, I like tarot cards, but I'm always a little sort of sceptical of it and everything. Anyway, she looked at me as I went into the room, and like when I say looked at me, she looked at me
too long.
Yeah, that look
uncomfortably too long.
That look that somebody gives you when they're like staring into your soul. You know what I mean? And I'm like, why is she looking at me like that?
She put a curse on me.
Anyway, there was a room here, and then you went across the hallway, and there was another room here. So we went in this room first, and we looked around the stalls and everything, and we came out of there, and she did it again.
Oh God!
And she really looked at me, and we went over to this other room, but Jenny had seen a really nice crystal in this room, and she wanted to go back, so we had to go back.
So you're walking back past
so
her
I'm
again.
walking back, and I'm like, Jesus, she's going to really stare at me again.
You should have like stuck your tongue out.
She grabbed my arm the third time. She said, "Can I speak to you, please?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, here we go." And I went, "Yeah." And she said, "Take a seat." And I was like, "Okay." So I sat down, and I thought, "Oh God, now what's going to happen here?" And she said, "I have got this very strong lady telling me I've got to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay." And I never said anything. Never
like to give.
I never gave her any indication of anything. And she said to me, I have a feeling that this lady is your mum. She said, "I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, because obviously I don't want to upset you or anything." And I was like, "Okay." Again, I still never said,
just say,
yes,
okay.
It will be. I just went, "Okay." And she said, she wants me to tell you something very specific. And I was like, right. And she said, and she chuckled and she went, she says to tell you, yes, she does keep an eye on you, but not when she doesn't need to. And I started really laughing. Because literally about 3 or 4 days before that, I was engaged to my ex-husband at the time. And I'd lost my mum, and I'd said to him, he'd said, I'd had a really, really bad day, and I was crying and everything, and saying I missed her and all the rest of it. And I was like, I hope she's somewhere keeping an eye on me, but not all the time, because I don't want her to watch me doing things I don't want her to see. As with
like
him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope she doesn't watch me when, we're doing things like that. And he really laughed, and we ended up, I was like laughing and crying at the same time. And I'd specifically said to him, I hope she doesn't watch me all the time.
That's crazy.
And she had said to me, she says to tell you, yes, she does keep an eye on you, but not when she doesn't need to.
That is insane.
And I was like, right. And I burst into tears, and I just sat there crying. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
Did you slap her?
And I was like, I just looked at her and I just went, right.
Did you punch her in the throat?
And then she said, and she's telling me something else as well. And I went, okay. And she said, she says to tell you, you better not give your training up, because she will come back and haunt you. And I had literally said to Kelvin, I don't know whether I can carry on.
Yeah, that is so specific.
Yeah, and I just looked at her, and Jenny come over and she's like, what have you done to my friend? Why is she crying?
Did she punch her in the throat?
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. But the funny thing is she was charging people to do mediumship. She was charging people to do like tarot readings. She didn't ask me for anything.
The thing is, I mean, a lot of people say that, they just want money, and it's like, but it's how they make a living, and it doesn't mean that they're doing you wrong by asking for money.
No.
But she really felt she had to tell you that.
She said, can I ask you?
Yeah.
It does this all make sense? And I'm like, yeah. And I told her afterwards, I said, yes, I recently, literally, like 6 weeks ago, lost my mum.
Yeah.
And I did say to my fiance, I hope that she isn't watching me all the time, because obviously you don't want to watch and you're doing the bum bums. I said
doing the bum bums.
That sounds really great.
Yeah. I said doing the bumping uglies and stuff.
That phrase.
And I said, and literally I have just been talking about, I don't know whether I can go back. I'm doing my nurse training at the moment, and I don't know whether I can go back or not.
That is mad that she picked that up.
Yeah. And I just, I just thought, how? I don't even live round there. It was in Peter. Yes, I was doing my nurse training, and at the time I was living with a friend to do my nurse training, but my parents weren't from there.
No.
It wasn't like she could have looked it up and...
Well, no, because you was only there a matter of how long. She wouldn't be able to look it up. She'd never seen you before.
No.
So, like...
No. It's not like she knows your name or anything.
No. That is mad.
I just... That was crazy.
I do like to think that some people are more in tune, whether you call them mediums or... But even, like, back to the story, she's obviously very open and more in tune to it, to be able to hold a conversation with the wife.
But as well, spirits, they can show themselves to who they want to show themselves to.
Yeah.
She wanted her husband to have a cuppa.
And she wanted it made right, so she had to tell them how to make it.
Well, yeah, because then the
husband
was saying that he thinks she's worried about him.
Yeah.
Well, she obviously was concerned, because she's like, who's going to make sure he has his cup of tea right?
How he likes it.
Yeah. And
it's quite nice.
It could have been any attendant, but that was the one.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, she was obviously quite open to it. Not even necessarily knowing she was, but she obviously was.
Yeah.
To be able to hold a conversation.
But it's like, we sense spirits, they can probably sense us and know... like some people will go to the asylum and they'll get nothing. We go and we tend to be fair, a lot of people have been to the asylum and they all say the same thing. And we have similar stories, similar happenings.
Yeah.
But there will be somebody that doesn't get anything. There'll be one time we go and not get anything, but...
Again, is that because there's been a lot of deaths there?
Yeah, but I think what I'm trying to say is like maybe some. Are you playing with my hair?
It was
She
curling. It's
because like some of us can sense better than others. I think all three of us can sense things. Like, and together it becomes a bit more.
Maybe,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But spirits probably sense something on us, so they show themselves or let themselves known, should I say, more to some than others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like if people are more,
they know if you're
accepting
open.
and
yeah.
Because I think if you don't believe, shall we say, you're probably not going to see it.
Well, no, because you bypass everything. You just be like,
you close off to it.
Close off to it is what I'm trying to say.
I have also heard that taking a skeptic can really make activity happen. I don't know why, I've just heard it. I've not actually looked into it, but I have heard that taking a skeptic can help an investigation.
That's mad.
If we've got any skeptics that want to come along with us, we should
Yeah.
take a viewer out one night. If you live near us, then
I must admit, though, like
we can take
a few programs I've watched that are to do with the paranormal. They do tend to try and have a mixture of people, don't they? And they always try to have a couple of the ones I've watched. They do try to have a skeptic there.
No, because it's not. Are they really a skeptic or are they not just a non-believer? Because we went to that talk, didn't we, in Grantham?
Oh yeah.
And he was saying a lot of people kind of misuse the word skeptic.
oh right.
It's a non-believer.
Right, okay.
Because a skeptic is actually on a deeper level. You can't just go, oh, you're a skeptic because they don't believe. People who are skeptics, was it something to do with like that you consider them a skeptic if...
I would actually class a skeptic more as a debunker. Because what they're saying
rationalise everything.
They rationalise everything and they can find a reason.
Yeah, but I don't think that makes them. I still don't think that would be the right time to use the word skeptic.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's for a different discussion. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about skeptics.
Yeah, and things like that. It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it would.
But there was something to do with like people tend to throw the word skeptic, but skeptics are people who it's a deeper level than just a non-believer.
Right.
And I can't remember what he said, but I'm sure it'll be on Tinterweb somewhere.
Tinterweb. So it was good. I'm enjoying this. Sitting and chatting, telling ghost stories. Guys, we've got plans for these videos. I'm not going to say anything. Members expect a video with some updates. But yeah, we like to keep a surprise.
Yeah.
Keep a surprise. Not that it's a massive surprise.
Well, I mean, it's only us again, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it's only. We are V4 spooky.
Yeah, I didn't mean to play that part down, but you know what I mean.
I'm going to say again, I said this in the last video, if any of you have got a ghost story, an experience that you've had, send it in. There is an email in the description that you can send it to, or any of the social medias, message us on one of them. You can do it anonymously, we don't have to say your name, but if you would like your story read out by us, then we'll sit and have a natter. We'll sit and have a natter about your story, tell it. We find people's experiences fascinating, don't we?
Yeah, it's just so different and potentially... It's just really interesting.
It is. It's so interesting. So yeah, get messaging or emailing us, please, because we'd love to. But we're going to leave you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys, and we'll speak to you all in our next video. But until then, sleep tight.